ripped their Achilles tendon before? Nobody? Really? All right, awesome. So I just joined your club last week, and now I have to have this cast on. My name is Matthew Romaine. I'm the CEO of Gengoo, and if you can't remember that, at least remember I was the guy with the cast on stage. So, who here is visiting from outside Japan? A couple handfuls, all right. Pretty international crowd, awesome. Hopefully getting here was relatively easy. If you do get a chance to navigate around Japan, you might find it can be a little bit complicated and difficult, especially when you're out in the sticks. And what's interesting, travel is really exciting, but businesses spend billions of dollars trying to attract customers to come into their stores and visit them and try out their services and try out their products. And yet, even to this day, we still have situations like this. On the left, you've got a business that's trying to sell some puzzles. On the right, you've got a sign that's basically trying to say this area is for self-service. Why does this stuff still happen even now? And so many years ago, I was hired as an engineer in Sony. And I found myself, after a couple years there, doing a lot of translation work. And I'm thinking like, wait, I was hired as an engineer and now I'm doing all this translation. Maybe some of you bilinguals out there have experienced this before. And I realized there's a couple of reasons. One is accessibility. A lot of people still don't know who to ask, where to go to get translations done. Another is price. It's still relatively expensive to get even really simple stuff like the signs that you just saw to get translated. Another is speed. Businesses need translations done, yesterday. And even now, there are agencies out there that'll take a few days just to give you a quote. And the fourth, it's increasing now these days because of the internet. You've got huge volumes of content, and most agencies just can't keep up with the volume and the capacity that needs to be delivered for translation. About 7 years ago, when we launched Gengoo, there were about 1.5 billion users online. And of course, we figured that number was only going to grow. And sure enough, 7 years later, it's more than doubled, and we're just shy of about 4 billion users online. Now, the interesting thing about large crowds of people is that talent is evenly distributed, but opportunity is not. And what's great about a platform like the internet is that it can democratize opportunity. And so we thought, wouldn't it be great if you could easily, cheaply, quickly, efficiently order translations and tap into this crowd of bilingual people who are all online? Or if you yourself are a fan of languages and want to help others, wouldn't it be great if you could help others reach across that language barrier? And so with the Gengoo platform, we've made these dreams come true. The Gengoo platform combines customers who want to reach a global audience with translators who have been qualified and tested and help those through translation. Right now we're doing just over 4 million words of translation, all human translated a week. It's about 433 words per minute. It takes about 1,500 translators, all active on our platform in any given week, and they're helping us translate across 70 different language pairs. Now today I wanted to share a little bit about how we're actually managing and coordinating this crowd of now over 20,000 translators that we have. And it takes sort of two parts. One is more cerebral, a bit more mechanical, and the other is more sort of human and emotional. So the first part is we've got this sort of pyramid structure that we help organize our crowd. Internally, we have a team we call Translator Operations Tops, and they do things like acquisitions, coordination, speed, quality, control, and then they help manage a crowd of 73, right now, senior translators who are sort of moderators for each of these language pairs. And these senior translators help evaluate and create tests that the 20,000, that actually over 300,000 applicants have tried to take, and only 20,000 of them have actually passed. And so it's a pretty difficult, complicated process. Another part is we invest a lot in the education and nurturing of our translators, and so we build a lot of resources. And this helps address the human nature of wanting to grow, and through these resources, translators can upskill. Then, of course, we invest a lot in technology and tools, and so we have a workbench. I believe it's best in class. It's basically access through the browser, and our translators have tools such as a glossary. There's automated quality validation. There's even translation memory, which is this concept of being able to tap into prior translations that were submitted from other translators as well. And then the other side is some more of the human, emotional part of how we nurture our crowd. So we feature them on our blog, and we find ones that have very interesting backgrounds. So Arajiha here, he's Nigerian, and he studied the German language and was really interested in it, and found the gengoo platform, and through translating English and German, became more proficient, got so passionate about the language that he applied to university in Germany and is now there studying in a master's program and getting better at the German language. Then we have Lara here. She's based in Morocco, so she translates between English and Spanish. She was working a regular job, and she had, started a family, and it became difficult for her to juggle both. And with the gengoo platform, she realized she could work at home and actually care for her family as well because of the flexibility that our platform provides. We also had asked our translators to share with us what their work environment looks like. And so here we have Arajiha's, so basically in Nigeria, the cell phone network and the power grid are very unstable. And so he needed 2 cell phones just to stay connected to the internet. Then here you have Lara's work environment. You can see some of the toys that her kids play with while she's able to work on our platform. So the gengoo platform, it's accessible from anywhere in the world, of course, as long as you have an internet connection. And it helps us enable these talented individuals with new opportunities to help others around the world. And sure enough, last year, gengoo translators were extremely busy, helping translate over 140 million words. Just in 2015, our busiest pair was Japanese to English, but our fastest growing were English into the 2 Chineses, traditional and complex, simplified, and of course Spanish as well. And we've paid out over $5 million to translators around the world. Some of them have made even close to $50,000, which is quite a lot if you're working from a developing country, and about 20% of our translators are from developing economies. A lot of this data we share online, and we have an initiative we call the Open Data Initiative, and it's really cool, and I think it's pretty fun and exciting to see how large crowds of individuals, what kind of metrics they produce, and we share everything around our turnaround times and some examples of the content that they're also translating, and a map of where they are, and this kind of stuff too. And we're also very fortunate to have large industry-leading customers who basically fall into one of 3 domains. It's travel, e-commerce, and what we call casual media, so that's like Huffington Post and BuzzFeed. And gengoo is basically a B2B enterprise-oriented business, and these are the platforms that have these huge volumes of content that they need to be able to scale and translate very efficiently. I wanted to close with a thought about sort of this man versus machine future that we seem to be heading towards with deep learning and AI. At gengoo, we believe that language is like a living organism, and it's always evolving. And of course, technology can be used, as I showed earlier, to improve the proficiency and the efficiency and the productivity of humans, of human productivity. But of course, in language, I think there's always going to need to be a human touch. And I came across an interesting example, and if you're studying Japanese or if you understand Japanese, you might find this kind of interesting. There was a customer who wanted to translate "the weather is so hot, it's unbearable" from English into Japanese. And unbearable could be translated into something like komaru. Now, if you know Japan, they love mascots, and in particular, they love the bear. And here's the lion bear, and kuma is bear in Japanese. Now, other types of bear mascots, you have Expedia. I think only in Japan they have the bear mascot. And you also have Kumamoto has a bear. It's a part of southern Japan. And this character is so well known all throughout the country. Now, if you were to translate "the weather is so hot, it's unbearable" just into Japanese, it might be something like "tenki ga atsukite komaru." But the customer actually wanted this to be a pun. So maybe you can see where this is going. They saw a bear, and they turned it into "tenki ga atsukite komaru." So with this, only a human could have come up with something like this. And with the gengoo platform, we're helping enable these talented individuals to help others reach across the language barrier. So I hope you enjoyed your Japanese lesson today. Thank you.